The sun blazed over Lagos that Saturday afternoon, its heat rising off the pavements like a whisper from the earth. In the heart of the city, where the chaos of honking cars and street vendors mixed with laughter and loud bargaining, a tall figure in a crisp white shirt and designer shades stepped out of a grand supermarket. Daniel. Known across Nigeria as a billionaire business mogul, Daniel wasn't just wealthy. He was known for his calm charm and quiet acts of generosity. His driver waited by the car, the black Mercedes already humming softly. But something made Daniel pause. Maybe it was the scent of roasted corn from a nearby roadside cellar. Or maybe, just maybe, fate had decided to take its first bold step. As he adjusted his sunglasses and scanned the crowd, he heard it. "Excuse me, sir. Please, can you help me with some money for food?" He turned. His breath caught. Standing barefoot on the hot pavement was a young woman. Her clothes were slightly torn, her skin dark and glowing under the sun, and her long black hair messy yet beautiful in its natural way. Her big eyes, tired but striking, met his. In that instant, time slowed. He'd met models, actresses, even presidents' daughters. None of them made his heart pause like this. "I'm sorry," Daniel stammered, caught off guard. "I don't have cash on me right now. Let me just go to that ATM over there and withdraw. Please wait here, don't go, I'll be right back." She gave a small nod. "Okay, sir, thank you." Daniel turned quickly and crossed the road to the ATM. His heart was racing. Why did she affect him so much? He kept glancing over his shoulder, afraid she might disappear. He withdrew a wad of notes and turned back. She was gone. "Wait. No," he muttered, scanning the area. Panic set in. Where did she go? He checked behind cars, peered into corners, and walked the length of the block. Nothing. It was as if she'd vanished. Disappointed, he walked back to his car slowly, the cash still clutched in his hand. The roasted corn scent still lingered, but the moment had passed. Back in Banana Island, his sprawling mansion felt quieter than usual. He walked in, distracted. "Welcome, my son," his father said from the grand leather couch. "How far about the wedding plans with Mr. Anderson's daughter? The engagement is next month. I hope you're taking it seriously." Daniel didn't respond. His father frowned. "Daniel, I'm talking to you." He sighed and dropped the notes on the table. "Dad, how many times will I say this? I told you and Mom before. I don't love this woman. You're forcing her on me." "You don't have a choice," his father snapped. "This marriage is important for business." Daniel turned and walked away. The image of the barefoot girl burned into his mind. He whispered, "Why didn't she wait?" The next morning, Daniel sat in his home office. Sunlight spilled across the glossy table, but his mind was clouded. He was supposed to be preparing for a meeting with his construction team, but his thoughts kept drifting back to the girl from the supermarket. Her eyes, that voice, the way she looked at him, not with admiration, but raw honesty. There was a knock. His mother entered gently, holding a cup of tea. "Daniel, are you okay? You came home yesterday looking disturbed." Daniel took the cup. "Thanks, Mom. Just tired." She sat beside him, watching him carefully. "Is it the engagement again?" He nodded slowly. "I can't marry someone I don't love, Mom. I can't live a lie." Before she could reply, his father walked in briskly. "We need to talk," his father said firmly, ignoring the calm atmosphere. "About what?" Daniel asked, though he already knew. "About the engagement, about Mr. Anderson's daughter. Have you even called her since we set the date? Do you know how this reflects on our family?" "I told you, Dad," Daniel said, placing the cup down carefully. "I don't love her. You're forcing this." "And you think love is everything?" His father scoffed. "This marriage will unite two powerful families. Think of what that means for our companies." Daniel stood. "I'm not a pawn. I won't marry for business." His father's voice sharpened. "You're being naive. You want love? Fine. But love doesn't build empires. Wisdom does. You can learn to love her after marriage. That's not how it works for me, Daniel said quietly. There was a moment of silence. The tension crackled between father and son. Finally, his mother spoke, her voice soft but firm. David, he's not a boy anymore. Maybe we should listen to what he wants. Daniel's father looked at both of them and then stormed out without another word. Daniel sat back down. Thanks, Mom. She patted his shoulder. Just follow your heart. But do it wisely. As she left the room, Daniel opened his laptop, but his eyes drifted to the corner of the screen where he had written a reminder. Find her. Who was she? And why did she leave? One thing was certain. He needed to see her again. It was a dry, hot Tuesday morning when Daniel received a call that pulled him out of his deep thoughts. His phone buzzed. It was one of the construction workers from his new residential project on the mainland. The man rarely called unless something urgent happened. Hello, sir. The voice on the line greeted nervously. Good morning. Sorry to disturb you. Daniel sat up. It's okay. What's going on? Sir, something strange happened this morning. One of the men went to check Block C and found a woman sleeping inside one of the empty rooms. Daniel's heartbeat quickened. A woman? Yes, sir. She looked tired. Sick even. We tried to talk to her, ask her to leave, but she kept begging. She said she has nowhere else to go. We didn't want to act rashly, so I said I should call you first. Daniel stood up immediately. Did she say her name? No, sir. But she's beautiful. Dark skin, torn white dress, long hair. Daniel's heart skipped. His hands clenched the phone. Don't do anything, I'll be there soon. Don't touch her. Don't move her. Just keep her safe. Yes, sir. Daniel dropped the call and grabbed his car keys. Within minutes, he was on the expressway, driving fast, his thoughts racing even faster. Could it really be her? He arrived at the site, ignored the greetings from the workers, and walked quickly to Block C. A few men stood at the entrance, confused and uncertain. They stepped aside when they saw him. Inside, curled up on the floor, was the girl. Her eyes were closed, her arms wrapped around her knees, her head resting against the cold wall. Her hair spilled around her like a curtain. Her dress, though still torn, covered her modestly. She looked peaceful, yet weak. Daniel stood frozen at the doorway. It was her. She stirred, slowly opening her eyes. When she saw him, she jumped up, startled. You, sir? He stepped closer. It's you. She panicked. Please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause trouble. I just needed somewhere to sleep. I didn't think anyone would come. I'll go now. Just give me a few minutes. Daniel raised his hand gently. No, you won't stay here. She lowered her eyes. I understand. I'll leave. No, he said again. I mean, you won't stay here. Because you're coming home with me. She blinked, unsure. Sir? You can stay in my guest room, help around the house, eat proper food, rest, be safe. Her lips trembled. Are you serious? Daniel nodded. I couldn't help you yesterday. I'm not missing the chance again. Tears filled her eyes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. May God bless you. As they walked toward his car, he turned to her and asked, What's your name? Hope, she said softly. He smiled. That's a beautiful name. The morning sun filtered gently into the kitchen of Daniel's mansion. A soft aroma of jollof rice wafted through the air as Hope stood at the cooker, stirring carefully. She wore a simple blue dress Daniel had given her hair tied back, her posture calm. It was the first time in a long while she had felt this much peace. She didn't hear the approaching heels at first, but she felt the presence. When she turned, her heart skipped. A striking woman stood at the entrance of the kitchen. Her makeup was bold, her high heels expensive, and her expression unimpressed. Excuse me, who are you? Hope turned off the cooker and wiped her hands nervously. Good morning, Ma. I'm just cooking. Cooking? In my man's house? The woman snapped. Hope blinked. I'm sorry. Mr. Daniel said I could stay. I'm in the guest room. The woman rolled her eyes. I'm Juliet, Daniel's girlfriend, and I don't remember him telling me he brought in strays from the street. Hope stepped back. I didn't mean to offend you. Juliet crossed her arms. Let me guess. You met him, gave him some poor little story, and now you're cooking in his kitchen like you're the lady of the house? No, Ma, it's not like that. Don't lie to me, Juliet shouted. You girls are all the same, desperate, pretending to be innocent so you can trap a rich man. Hope's eyes welled with tears. I'm not here to trap anyone. I just needed a safe place to sleep. Juliet snorted. Safe? You think I'm stupid? I know your type. Stay away from Daniel. Just then, Daniel stepped into the room, his voice cutting through the tension. Juliet, what's going on? She turned furious. Who is this girl and why is she cooking in your kitchen? Daniel stepped forward. I told you about her. She needed help. I brought her here. Juliet looked stunned. You brought her here? To live with you? She was sleeping at my construction site, Daniel said. She had nowhere to go. Juliet shook her head. So you bring her home? Are you crazy? She could be a thief, a liar. She's not, Daniel said firmly. She's someone who needed help. Juliet glared. You're defending her now, a stranger you just met? Because she's shown me more honesty in 2 days than you have in 2 years. Juliet gasped. Are you serious? Daniel looked her in the eye. You never cook, never clean, never care. But now someone does, and you're threatened. Juliet stood frozen. Hope stood still, trembling. Juliet turned to Hope. Enjoy it while it lasts. She stormed out. The air was still in Daniel's bedroom that evening. Hope had returned to her room quietly after the kitchen drama, and Daniel sat on the edge of his bed, deep in thought. Just then, his phone rang. It was his father. Good evening, Dad, Daniel answered. His father's tone was firm, direct. Juliet came to the house this morning, crying. She said she saw some strange girl in your kitchen. She said the girl was wearing your clothes and acting like she owned the place. Daniel exhaled. Is that why you're calling? Answer me. Who is that girl? Why is she living in your house? Dad, the girl Juliet saw isn't my girlfriend. I have nothing with her. She's someone I helped. She had no home. I brought her in to help around the house just until she can get back on her feet. Daniel, his father said more calmly now, I'm not saying you shouldn't help people, but you must be careful. Some of these girls are dangerous. They come into your life like angels, and before you know it, they bring everything crashing down. I understand your concern, Dad, but I know what I'm doing. Juliet had no right to come into my house and interrogate me. Juliet is only reacting that way because she loves you. She's scared of losing you, and she's worried about the wedding plans being delayed. Daniel stood and walked to the window. Dad, that wedding has nothing to do with me right now. I have more than 6 building projects under my care. I don't have time for a forced marriage or fake love. Watch your tone, young man, his father snapped. This marriage is important to both families. It's not just about you. Daniel turned sharply. Then marry her yourself, because I'm not going to. There was a pause on the line. So is it this street girl you're falling for now? Daniel chuckled bitterly. Dad, this conversation is over. I need to rest. We'll talk later. He ended the call without waiting for a response. It was a hot afternoon. Daniel had traveled outside Lagos for a sudden business meeting. He had told Hope he would be back before nightfall, and she promised to keep the house clean and cook something nice for him. She wore a neat top and skirt, simple but clean, and was in the kitchen chopping vegetables for a pot of stew. Soft music played in the background. For once, life felt still, gentle, even kind. Then the front door slammed open. Hope flinched. She wasn't expecting anyone. Moments later, the familiar sound of high heels echoed across the hallway. Juliet. She marched into the living room and looked around sharply, her expression full of disdain. Her eyes fell on Hope through the kitchen doorway. She walked in slowly, her arms folded. "Oh, you're still here?" Hope turned, wiping her hands. "Good afternoon, Ma," Juliet hissed. "You're very stubborn, aren't you? I thought by now you would have left this house." Hope swallowed. "Mr. Daniel said I could stay until he returns. I'm just keeping things in order." Juliet scoffed. "Keeping things in order? So now you're the house manager? Or are you his wife now?" Hope shook her head. "No, Ma. I'm just doing what he asked." Juliet rolled her eyes and turned toward the hallway. "Follow me." Hope hesitated. "Ma?" "I said follow me." Hope dropped the knife, wiped her hands, and followed Juliet to the backyard. There, under the shade near the fence, was a basket of clothes. Juliet pointed at it. "Those are my clothes. Take them. Hand wash them. Now." Hope blinked. "Ma, there's a washing machine inside. I can use that." Juliet turned sharply. "Did I ask you to suggest anything? I said wash them by hand. Or do you think you're too big for that now?" Hope looked down. "I'm in the middle of cooking. I need to finish before he returns." Juliet's voice rose. "You dare talk back to me? Wash those clothes now or get out." Hope's hands trembled as she bent down to pick up the clothes. Juliet leaned in. "You think you're smart, right? Cooking his food, cleaning his house, waiting for him like a loyal wife. I know your plan. You're here to steal him from me." "No, Ma. I would never do that." "Liar," Juliet spat. "You're nothing but a poor, desperate beggar. Dirty thing from the street. Your dry skin, those big eyes. You think that's beauty? Trash." Hope stayed silent, tears stinging her eyes. Juliet sneered. "Let Daniel come back. You'll be gone the same day. Enjoy this fake queen life while it lasts." Hope knelt beside the basin, dipping the first item into soapy water. Juliet folded her arms and watched with an evil smile, relishing every moment. Just then, the gate opened. A car rolled in. Daniel. He had returned early, holding a bag of fruits and a small gift box in his hand. He entered the compound quietly, hearing the sharp voice around the back. As he rounded the corner, he froze. Hope was kneeling beside a basin, hand-washing Juliet's clothes. Her hands were red, her eyes swollen. Juliet stood over her like a queen over a servant. "I said wash it again, you useless girl," Juliet barked. Daniel stepped forward. "What is this?" Hope turned, startled. Juliet turned too, shocked. "Daniel, you're back early." "Clearly, and I came back to this?" Juliet laughed nervously. "Oh, she said she likes helping out, so I gave her something to do." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Don't lie. I heard everything." Juliet's smile faded. "So you were standing there? Long enough to hear you insult her. Call her names. Treat her like a slave in my house." "She's playing a game, Daniel. I know these types. She's using you." Daniel stepped between them. "And what are you doing here, Juliet? I didn't invite you." "I came to see you, but clearly you're too busy defending beggars." "Enough," Daniel said coldly. "You came in, insulted someone under my protection, and tried to throw her out." Juliet crossed her arms. "So what now? You're choosing her over me." Daniel stared her in the eyes. "Yes, because at least she respects me and everyone around her. She didn't ask to be here, I brought her, and she's never once treated this house like it was hers. Unlike you." Juliet opened her mouth, then closed it. Rage danced across her face. "You think you've won," she said to Hope, "but this won't last." Daniel turned to her. "Juliet, please leave." "What? You're throwing me out because of her?" "No, I'm asking you to leave because of you. Because of your behavior, your pride, your disrespect," Juliet hissed. "You'll regret this." Daniel said nothing. She turned on her heels and stormed out. Hope sat still, her eyes on the basin. Daniel knelt beside her. "I'm sorry. I should have protected you better. You didn't deserve that. She shook her head. It's not your fault. He helped her up. Come inside. You don't have to explain anything. I trust you. The living room was quiet that evening. The tension from earlier still lingered in the walls like smoke after a fire. Hope sat in the guest room, trying to stay out of sight. She had eaten very little and spoken even less. Meanwhile, Daniel sat in his study, pacing, replaying the scene from the backyard over and over in his mind. Juliet's words, Hope's silence, the helplessness in her eyes. It all burned within him. His phone buzzed. It was his father. Again. With a sigh, Daniel answered. Good evening, Dad. His father's voice was stern. Daniel, we need to talk. Juliet came over again today, crying her eyes out. She said you're now siding with that girl, that she's living in your house, cooking, and dressing like a wife. Daniel rubbed his temples. Dad, we've already talked about this. Juliet has no right to come to my house uninvited and insult someone I chose to help. This isn't about rights, his father snapped. This is about the family name, about dignity, about business. Juliet said you humiliated her in your own backyard. You made her feel like an outsider. She made Hope feel like trash, Daniel barked back. She insulted her, forced her to hand wash her clothes, treated her like a slave. And you want me to protect that kind of behavior? There was a pause. Son, please, just think this through. Juliet is the daughter of Mr. Anderson. If you ruin this alliance, you ruin the business ties between both families. Daniel took a deep breath. Dad, you talk about business more than my life. I am not a company. I am your son. And that girl, Hope, or whatever her name is, do you think she belongs in our world? Daniel smiled sadly. She has more class than Juliet ever had. She cooks, she cleans, she respects everyone. She didn't ask for anything. All she wanted was safety. You barely know her. But I know enough. I know her heart. I know she's kind. And that's more than I can say for someone who's had every opportunity and still chose arrogance. His father's voice dropped. So you're serious about ending things with Juliet? Yes, 100%. Daniel, you'll regret this. Maybe. But I won't regret choosing peace. He ended the call. Daniel stepped out of the study and walked to the guest room. He knocked softly. Hope? She opened the door slightly. Yes, sir? You don't have to call me sir, not here. She gave a small smile. Okay, Daniel. He looked at her seriously. I want you to know, you're safe here. I won't let anyone talk down on you again. This house is yours too. Her eyes welled with tears. Thank you. I don't deserve all this. Yes, you do, he said quietly. More than you know. The evening breeze swept gently through the balcony as Daniel and Hope sat on 2 wooden chairs, sipping juice in silence. The sky was painted in soft shades of pink and orange as the sun slowly descended. Crickets had begun to chirp in the garden, and the city hummed far off in the distance. Daniel looked over at Hope, who stared ahead, her fingers nervously rubbing the rim of her glass. You okay? He asked softly. She gave a small nod. Yes, I didn't expect today to go like that. He smiled slightly. Me neither. But I'm glad I came back when I did. There was silence for a while. Then she spoke. Daniel, I really want to thank you for everything. For the room, the clothes, the food. For standing up for me. I don't know why you're doing it, but I appreciate it. He turned to her, serious now. Hope, when I saw you outside that supermarket, something changed in me. I didn't know what it was at first, but the moment you disappeared, I realized I needed to find you again. She looked at him, her expression mixed with surprise and something deeper. I don't understand, she said quietly. Daniel took a deep breath. I know this may sound crazy, but I fell for you the moment you spoke to me. I've met hundreds of women, rich, powerful, perfect on paper. but none of them stopped my heart the way you did. Hope looked down. I'm not trying to pressure you, he continued. I just needed you to know how I feel. I love you, Hope. She blinked quickly, tears forming. Daniel, you've been so kind to me. More than anyone ever has. But I need you to understand something important. He leaned in, listening. I'm not ready for love. Not yet. I came here broken. I'm still trying to find who I am. What I need right now is to work, save, and go back to school. That's my dream. That's what my mother wanted for me. Daniel nodded slowly. Okay, I understand. She looked at him, unsure. You do? You're not upset? No, he said. How could I be angry at someone for being honest? You want to build your life, not depend on someone else. I respect that more than you know. Hope wiped her eyes and smiled. I want to study mass communication. I love writing. I love speaking. I want to tell stories, be a voice for others. He smiled warmly. Then I'll support you, not because I want anything from you, but because I believe in you. You've done enough already, she whispered. I don't want to be a burden. You're not a burden, Hope. You're a blessing. She looked into his eyes, and in that moment, without saying a word, something passed between them. A quiet understanding, a bond of trust. It was a calm Saturday afternoon. The sun was gentle and the breeze was soft against the mansion walls. In the kitchen, Hope stood by the cooker, humming a quiet tune as she flipped pieces of golden plantain. The scent of fried rice mixed with grilled chicken filled the air, and everything about the space felt warm. She wore a plain yellow gown and had tied her hair back. The blue apron around her waist was slightly stained from earlier chopping, but she didn't mind. This was peace. This was purpose. The doorbell rang. Hope quickly turned off the gas and rushed to the front door. When she opened it, she was momentarily speechless. Standing there was an elegant woman in a cream lace gown and soft gold jewelry. Her face bore the beauty of grace and wisdom, and her eyes were sharp but kind. Hope smiled nervously. Good afternoon, Ma. Please come in. The woman smiled. Thank you, my dear. Is Daniel around? Hope stepped aside. No, Ma. He stepped out briefly but said he'd be back soon. Please have a seat. The woman entered and looked around the well-kept living room, nodding to herself. You must be Hope, she said as she settled into the sofa. Hope blushed. Yes, Ma, I am. You must be Daniel's mother. That's right. And you're even more beautiful than he described. Hope's cheeks grew warmer. He said, Nice things about me? Yes. And now I see why. Hope smiled shyly and glanced toward the kitchen. Ma, would you like something to eat while you wait? I made fried rice and grilled chicken. It's Daniel's favorite. The woman chuckled softly. So he told you that too? Hope nodded. Yes, Ma. I remember everything he says. After a gentle insistence, Hope returned moments later with a tray. A steaming plate of fried rice, grilled chicken, ripe plantains, a chilled bottle of water, and a glass. She set it carefully on the table. Here you go, Ma. I hope you enjoy it. Daniel's mother looked impressed. She took a bite, then another. Her smile widened. This is delicious, Hope. You cook with heart. Thank you, Ma. My mother taught me. She always said food tastes better when made with peace. The older woman set her fork down gently. You're rare. After the meal, Hope quietly brought out a bowl of warm water, lotion, and a towel. Ma, she said softly, can I give you a foot soak? My mom used to say the feet of a good mother should always be rested. Daniel's mother stared at her, speechless. Please, Hope added. I'd be honored. Touched beyond words, she removed her shoes. Hope gently washed her feet, dried them with care, and rubbed soft lotion around her ankles. The moment felt sacred. Just then, Daniel entered, surprised to see his mother relaxed, smiling, and Hope kneeling beside her like a daughter. Mom, I didn't know you were coming. She looked up and smiled. I came to see for myself. He sat beside her. And? You were right, she said simply. She's a treasure. Daniel beamed and Hope looked away, embarrassed. But in her heart she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Accepted.